Hi everyone, so welcome and let's talk about the activity life cycle. And this is one of the things most interviewers asks about Android. They do ask, do you know what's an activity life cycle? They might ask you to explain it in details as well. So in the end, you'll have known what is an activity, what these methods do on create, on start, on resume, and the rest. You'll also get to see us doing it practically using the Android emulator. And to get started, first of all, you need to know what is an activity in Android. And remember, this is the official Android developers documentation. To keep it short, an activity provides the window in which the app draws its UI. An activity provides the app the window. An activity provides the window in which the app draws its UI. Basically, in small screens, this window typically fills the screen. It may be smaller than the screen, meaning the physical screen of your device. It can float on top of other windows. Generally, one activity implements one screen in an app. So let's see it in action. And so first of all, we have onCreate. What it does, this method is called when activity is being created. onRestart, it's not called immediately, but it's part of the life cycle. onRestart is only called after onStop. So our activity, while at onStop state, yes, it's created. It can either be destroyed or it can be restarted. So these two are similar thing but called on different occasions, especially for onRestart. But when onRestart method is called, also onStart method is called. What they mean, they're basically called when the activity is started. This means the activity is transitioning to visibility state. Yes. And when the activity is visible, it needs to be focused. It needs to have focus in order for the user to interact with your app. Yes, focus is meaning it is allowing the user to interact with it directly. That's how an activity has focus. Keep in mind visibility. Yes, you are seeing the activity. Focus is all about allowing the user to interact with the activity. And now we have onPause, which is called when the activity no longer has focus. onPause is called when the activity no longer has focus. And onStop method is called when the activity is no longer visible, meaning the activity has been stopped. Think of it as a game. Yes, you are playing a game. You have started a mission. Yes, it's resumed. This is Android activity life cycle. Yes, the resume method is called. Whether you have started it or restart, the resume method must be called. Yes, it has focus. Now you are interacting with the game, assuming. Then when you pause, it no longer has focus. The mission you're in your game has been paused. You can stop the game, you can destroy the game. Think of it as that. Now let's go to code and see how this shapes. And by the way, I'm using the 100 basics course, which is unit 4 of architecture components. Okay, let me expand. Okay, click that. Architecture components, the first code lab under this topic. And let me open the code lab. So this code lab teaches more about stages of the life cycle. And this is our app, the Desert Clicker. The source code, it's this one, which I've opened it inside inside Android Studio, but I'm using Firebase Studio. So let's get back into it. Already we talked about this, all that, and these are the methods that you can override in your activity. Initially you have onCreate, onStart, onResume, onRestart, onPause, onStop, then onDestroy. I'm saving you time, so we'll come back to the use cases later. So let me take you through the code. First of all, we have our main activity. There it is. It extends component activity, whereas the component activity extends another component activity. Then that component activity extends the actual activity class. And inside our main activity, we usually start with onCreate. When you create our activity, we set content, we set UI. This is our UI. We have our surface, and now there it's our Desert Clicker app UI. This is a compose function, composable. So this is UI. So onCreate method is called when our activity is being created. Right here we are logging onCreate method called, and you are overriding other methods of the activity lifecycle. We have overridden onStart, onResume, onRestart, onPause, onStop, and onDestroy. And we also have a function that opens an intent for sharing. Sharing the share text on desserts sold and revenue. And that's our app at the bottom, basically UI. So before we go to use cases, first of all, let me launch our application. So our activity is being created. Let me see the logs. Okay, so currently our tag is main activity. To do that, inside the log cat, I'll type tag is main activity. There it is. And where is it? So let me delete the old logs and restart our application for us to see it, how it happens. So our process for our application has started, and the method you're seeing onCreate is first one to be called, then onStart, then onResume. Keep in mind what we talked about. onStart method is called when the activity is transitioning to visibility. onResume is called when our activity has focus. Keep that in mind. When I click home, our activity is no longer visible. So first of all, on pause method it's called to tell us that our activity no longer has focus. On stop method is called to show that our activity is no longer visible. So when you look here, we don't see on restart. Yes, at the end we have on stop. Our activity has not yet been destroyed, so meaning it's still there. And at that state we are here. Yes, our activity is stopped. Now it's at created state. It's no longer visible. But when we restart, when you go back to application, on restart method will be called, then on start. That the reason we are calling on restart, it's because we had called on stop. And our activity is being restarted. So to do that, I'll click recents, then select our activity. As you can see, on restart method has been called, then on start method is called after on restart. So these two are alike, but you have to choose which one to use based on your use case. On restart and on start method, they are called to show that our activity is now visible, but on resume is called to show our activity has focus. And we have on destroy. So to destroy our app, what I'll destroy the activity. Hopefully I destroyed it. I didn't destroy. So when I clicked the overlay menu to show other activities as well, currently we have one activity at our system backstack, so we are seeing it here, and yes, it is visible but does not have focus. So we have on stop method. So let me destroy the activity. Hopefully I've destroyed it. On destroy method it's called, it should log down here. In our case it has not shown because when you destroy your activity, it disconnects the app from Android Studio. In other cases you might see it, in other cases you might not. So let's go to the use cases, which will give more details down here. Remember I touched the share intent. This is the one. So we'll see it under use cases. So the first use case we had was opening and closing of the activity. We did that. What happened? We saw onCreated, onStarted, onResume. So what it means is, yes, we have opened our activity. We have onCreated, onStarted, onResume. So that's the use case you want to determine. Opening, then closing. There are two ways. First way is closing by clicking the home button. We have closed our activity, but it's not destroyed. To destroy, we can destroy it manually, or if we have closed our app, closed the activity for a longer time, like when you open other apps, the Android system would destroy our activity by itself automatically. so as to preserve resources for other applications to use them. So that's our activity. This is another activity. Okay, so let me leave it at that. I think already we covered this. What else do we need to cover? Partially hide the activity. So this is what we want to do. We want to share to create an intent and see what happens. Okay, let me go back to our activity. I'll go to logs, down, onResume. Our activity has focus. Keep in mind onRestart is called after onStop, and these two are called to indicate our app is visible. This one is called to show our app has focus. And now when I click share, I've clicked it. Now let's see our log cut. onPause method is called, which is this one. So onResume activity has focus, but if it's partially hidden, onPause is called, which has been shown by the use case 3. Then configuration changes. This basically means when your app undergoes configuration changes. Basically the activity that the most common one is screen rotation, whereby the system needs to recreate the activity in order for rotation to be done. And it can also be, it can happen when the user goes to settings, changes the text size, display size, and others. And also a configuration change can occur when the user splits your window. So let's go back to it, see what happens. So I've clicked out of the share intent and our activity is now resumed. Now let me rotate the device. A configuration change occur. Remember, we called on pause to show our activity was visible, but it had lost focus. And onStop is called to show our activity was no longer visible. That happened very fast when we rotated our screen. It happens very fast. Our activity got destroyed. It got created again, and we called onStart. Remember, when an activity is destroyed, we do not call onRestart. We call onStart. Then we proceed to onResume. Now let me clear the logs and rotate again. As you can see, the first call is onPause, stop, destroy. Then our activity gets recreated, started, then resumed. So that's it. That's the activity life cycle. In case you have any question, put it in the comment section, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Catch you in the next one.